But she's a school psychologist. What's wrong with her own kid? I stared at my phone, frozen with shock as message after message rolled in. My heart hammered against my ribs when I recognized Karen Miller's name, my best friend Ashley's mother, as the chat admin. The notification had popped up innocently. You've been added to Special Parents Brigade. I'd assumed it was the volunteer group for the spring festival. But no, this was something far more sinister. Ethan obviously needs help. Maybe if Ms. Perfect Psychologist spent less time fixing other people's children and more time with her own. My hands trembled so badly I nearly dropped my phone. Every message stung like a physical slap. 26 parents from my son's 4th grade class, people who smiled to my face at pickup, dissecting my parenting, my profession, my child. Did anyone else see how he acted at the science fair? My Olivia said he had a meltdown when he didn't win. I straightened my spine, took a screenshot, then another, then 10 more. They hadn't realized their mistake yet. For 3 minutes and 47 seconds, I documented everything before typing. Thank you for your feedback on my son and my parenting. This is Jessica White, Ethan's mother. Then I left the group. 3 seconds later, my phone exploded with private messages. Apologies. Explanations. Excuses. I ignored them all and dialed Ashley's number instead. My supposed best friend for 15 years. Jess. Her voice was wary. Were you part of it too? I asked quietly. She hesitated, just long enough. How long? I demanded. Jess, it's not what you think. Mom started it as a support group for parents dealing with challenging classroom dynamics. Challenging classroom dynamics, I repeated flatly. Is that what you call targeting a 9-year-old boy who happens to be on the spectrum? My son. Nobody was targeting. I saw the messages, Ashley. I have screenshots. Your mother called my son the class liability and suggested I should be fired from my position as school psychologist because I can't even handle my own kid. Silence. When were you going to tell me? My voice cracked. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. I laughed bitterly. Well, that worked out perfectly. I hung up and stared at my living room wall. The framed photo of Ethan's birthday party 3 months ago mocked me. Ashley stood right beside me in it, arm around my shoulder. Karen was there too, her perfectly highlighted hair and country club smile now sinister in retrospect. My phone chimed again, a text from Ashley. Mom says she accidentally added you. She's mortified. Can we talk? Accidentally. Right. Another notification. From Karen herself, Jessica, sweetheart, this is all a terrible misunderstanding. We love Ethan. We're just concerned parents trying to navigate difficult situations. I took a deep breath and placed my phone face down on the coffee table. Think like a professional, not a wounded mother. I needed a strategy, not an emotional outburst. After 7 years as the school psychologist at Lakeside Elementary, I knew exactly how social dynamics worked, both for children and their parents. The doorbell rang. I peered through the peephole. Ashley, looking distraught, clutching her purse to her chest. I opened the door but blocked the entrance. Not now. Please, Jess. 5 minutes. Mom is beside herself. I bet she is, I replied coldly. Being caught is so uncomfortable. It wasn't like that. The group started because some parents had concerns about classroom disruptions. Ethan's name just came up because he's autistic? Because he sometimes needs extra time to process changes in routine? Or because your mother has always thought I was too permissive? Ashley flinched. You're twisting things. Am I? The messages seemed pretty straightforward. I pulled out my phone and read aloud. Maybe if Jessica spent less time trying to be Ethan's friend and more time being his parent, he wouldn't be acting out. That's your mother's exact words. Ashley stared at her shoes. She shouldn't have said that. No, she shouldn't have. Neither should you have participated. I looked her directly in the eyes. How long have you been in that chat without telling me? Her silence was answer enough. Goodbye, Ashley. I closed the door and leaned against it, breathing hard. My phone vibrated continuously with messages from unknown numbers, more parents from the chat, no doubt, doing damage control. I looked at the time. Ethan would be home from his dad's in an hour. My beautiful, brilliant, sometimes challenging son who'd been navigating a neurotypical world with grace I couldn't fathom. My chest tightened with protective fury. He'd been struggling with friendships lately, now I understood why. It wasn't just kids being kids, it was orchestrated exclusion. My phone rang. This time, Mark Johnson, Ethan's teacher. The only notification I wanted to see. Jessica? I've been getting some strange calls from parents. Something about a group chat. Mark. I exhaled, relieved to hear a voice I could trust. Can you meet me? There's something you need to see. The coffee shop in 20? Perfect. I gathered my evidence and my resolve. This wasn't just about Ethan anymore. This was about every child who'd ever been singled out, every parent who'd ever been undermined. As school psychologist, I'd counseled countless kids through bullying, but I'd never imagined facing it from the parents themselves. As I grabbed my keys, my phone pinged with a text from Karen. This is being blown way out of proportion. Let's talk woman to woman. I smiled grimly. Oh, we would talk. But first, I had plans to make. Mark was already waiting when I arrived at the coffee shop, 2 lattes on the table. His concerned expression deepened as I showed him the screenshots. This is. He trailed off, scrolling through message after message. Organized social exclusion, I finished for him. Of a child with special needs. He looked up, expression grim. And of you. I nodded. They've been coordinating playdates without Ethan, discussing how to seat their kids away from him, even suggesting to Principal Davis that he be moved to a different class. Mark ran a hand through his hair. I noticed some odd dynamics recently. Kids suddenly not wanting to partner with Ethan, who used to be fine with it. This explains a lot. What do we do? I asked, professional mask slipping. I know what the school's anti-bullying policy says, but it doesn't exactly cover parents creating an exclusion campaign. Mark's eyes narrowed with determination. Actually, it does. Section 3.4. Creating a hostile environment through any means, including digital communication, that interferes with a student's educational experience. I'd never loved school policy jargon more than at that moment. We take this to Davis, he continued. With your permission, of course. This isn't just about Ethan. This kind of behavior affects the whole classroom culture. I hesitated. They'll say I'm overreacting, being too emotional because it's my son. Then we present it as the educational professionals we are. He tapped the screenshots. This isn't an emotional response. It's documented evidence of coordinated exclusion. My phone pinged again. This time it was a voicemail from Donna Peterson, PTA president and chat participant. Jessica, we need to clear the air. Karen went too far, but we were just trying to support each other. Call me back. Too late for that. Mark and I spent 2 hours outlining our approach. By the time I picked up Ethan from his dad's, I had a 6-point plan and the first real hope since seeing those messages. How was your weekend, buddy? I asked as he climbed into the car. Ethan shrugged, eyes on his shoes. Okay, just okay. No one came to Dad's for the Mario Kart tournament. He said maybe they were busy. My heart cracked. The tournament had been planned for weeks. Did you call your friends? Dad did. Mrs. Miller said Avery was sick. But I saw on Lucas's Instagram that they were all at Avery's house playing Fortnite. Of course they were. I white-knuckled the steering wheel to keep from showing my rage. Mom? Am I weird? His small voice made my eyes burn. You're not weird, Ethan. You're extraordinary. I met his eyes in the rearview mirror. And I'm about to make sure everyone knows it. Monday morning, I arrived at school earlier than usual, my presentation loaded on my laptop, printouts organized in my portfolio. Principal Davis had agreed to an emergency meeting before classes. As I walked into the administration building, Karen Miller emerged from Davis's office, her perfect blonde bob swinging as she turned. Her eyes widened. Jessica, I've been trying to reach you all weekend. I've been busy, I replied coolly, clutching my portfolio tighter. About that unfortunate chat mix-up, not now, Karen. Principal Davis appeared in the doorway. Jessica, Mark's already here. Come in. Karen's perfectly lined eyes narrowed. What's this about? Principal Davis regarded her coolly. School business, Karen. Thank you for bringing the fundraiser proposals. We'll discuss them at the next regular PTA meeting. I stepped past her into the office, savoring her confused expression. Mark sat beside Tom Richards, the district's anti-bullying coordinator, whom I'd asked to join us. Perfect. Principal Davis closed the door, leaving Karen in the hallway. I understand we have a serious situation, Davis began. I connected my laptop to the projector. More than serious. We have documented evidence of organized parental involvement in the social exclusion of a student with special needs. I pulled up the screenshots, watching Davis's expression shift from professional neutrality to shock, then anger. This chat has existed for over 2 months, I continued, my voice steady. During that time, Ethan's social invitations have decreased by 70%. His participation in class discussions has dropped by 40%. His most recent anxiety assessment shows a significant increase in school-related concerns. I laid out the evidence clinically, as if discussing any other student, not my son whose heart was breaking daily because of these adults. And you discovered this, how? Davis asked. I was accidentally added to the group by Karen Miller, who apparently administers it. Tom Richards frowned. This clearly violates our district bullying policy. Digital orchestration of exclusion is explicitly prohibited. These are parents, not students, Davis pointed out, who are directing their children's behavior, Mark countered, showing screenshots where parents explicitly told kids not to invite Ethan. This is affecting classroom dynamics. I've had to address exclusive behavior multiple times recently without understanding the root cause. Davis rubbed his forehead. What do you propose? I opened my portfolio. A 3-part intervention. For the next 15 minutes, I outlined my plan: an immediate dissolution of the chat group, a mandatory parent education session on neurodiversity, and classroom interventions to rebuild social connections. And if parents refuse to participate? Davis asked. Then we initiate formal bullying investigation procedures, with potential referral to the school board, Tom replied. This isn't optional. We have a legal responsibility to address hostile environments. Davis nodded slowly. Set it up. Mandatory parent meeting tomorrow evening. I'll make the calls myself. A wave of relief washed over me. Thank you. As I gathered my materials, Davis added, Jessica, given your personal involvement, perhaps you should step back. I finished for him. With respect, sir, that's exactly what they want. For the professional to disappear so they only have to deal with the emotional mother. I met his gaze steadily. I can be both. In fact, I need to be both. After a moment, he nodded. The parent session is yours. I spent the day in my office, counseling students as usual while finalizing my presentation. Several parents from the chat tried to see me, just to talk. I referred them all to tomorrow's mandatory meeting. At 3 o'clock, I stood at the pickup line as usual. One by one, the chat parents arrived, eyes downcast or deliberately avoiding mine. Karen arrived last, chin high, Chanel sunglasses hiding her eyes. Jessica, she said stiffly. I smiled professionally. Karen, looking forward to seeing you at tomorrow's mandatory parent education session. Principal Davis sent the email an hour ago. Her perfect facade cracked slightly. This is completely unnecessary. A simple conversation between friends could have resolved this. Friends don't organize social exclusion campaigns against their friends' children, I replied quietly. 7 p.m. sharp, Karen. Attendance will be taken. When Ethan emerged, I hugged him extra tight, then watched him run to the playground where Mark had organized a special activity session. For the first time in weeks, I saw other children include him without hesitation. Mark gave me a thumbs up from across the yard. My phone buzzed. Ashley, can we please talk before the meeting tomorrow? I never meant to hurt Ethan. I put my phone away without replying. Some betrayals cut too deep for quick forgiveness. That night, I showed Ethan a breathing technique for managing anxiety. Is this because of the meeting tomorrow? He asked, surprising me with his awareness. I heard Lucas's mom talking about it at pickup. I hesitated, then decided on honesty. Yes. Some parents haven't been very understanding about differences. I'm going to help educate them. He nodded solemnly. Like how you taught me that my brain just works differently? Exactly like that. Will it fix everything? His hopeful expression nearly broke me. Not everything, I admitted. But it's a start. The school auditorium was full by 6:55 p.m. Every parent from the chat was present, plus dozens more who'd heard rumors about what was happening. Karen sat in the back row, Ashley beside her, both rigid with tension. At precisely 7 p.m., Principal Davis stepped to the microphone. Thank you all for coming to this mandatory session on fostering inclusive classroom communities. District policy requires all parents to participate in anti-bullying education when incidents occur. Tonight's session will be led by our school psychologist, Jessica White. Murmurs rippled through the crowd as I took the podium. I could feel Karen's glare burning into me. Good evening. I'm here in two capacities tonight, as Lakeside psychologist and as Ethan White's mother. The room went silent. I displayed the first slide, not screenshots of the chat, but brain scans showing neurological differences. Many of you know that my son is on the autism spectrum. What you may not understand is that this isn't a failing or a deficiency, it's a neurological difference as innate as eye color or height. For the next 45 minutes, I educated them about neurodiversity, the impact of exclusion, and how adult behavior shapes children's social responses. I never directly mentioned the chat, but I didn't have to. The guilty shifting of certain parents said enough. When adults organize social exclusion, I said, meeting Karen's eyes directly, they teach children that difference is threatening rather than valuable. They create not just one victim, but a classroom of children who learn that belonging is conditional on conformity. I displayed my final slide, statistics on mental health impacts of social exclusion. As parents, you want to protect your children. I understand that impulse better than anyone, but protection through exclusion isn't protection at all. It's fear disguised as concern. I took a deep breath. And now I have something to show you. I played a video I'd recorded yesterday, Ethan and his classmates working together during Mark's activity session, laughing, collaborating, naturally including each other without adult interference. This is what's possible when we allow children to experience difference rather than fear it. When we guide rather than restrict. When we educate rather than exclude. The room was utterly silent when I finished. Principal Davis returned to the microphone, outlining the new parent communication policies and consequences for organized exclusion. As people filed out afterward, several parents approached me with tearful apologies. I accepted them professionally, without promising personal forgiveness. Karen remained seated until the room cleared, then approached with Ashley trailing behind. That was quite a performance, Karen said tightly. That was quite a chat group, I replied. You've humiliated me in front of the entire school community. You organized social exclusion against a 9-year-old child. We were concerned parents discussing classroom issues. No, I said firmly. You were adults bullying a child with special needs and undermining his mother. There's a difference. Ashley stepped forward. Jess, please. Mom went too far, but I didn't know how to stop it without risking your own social standing. I finished. That's exactly the dynamic you created for the children, Ashley. Conform or be excluded. Karen's perfect composure finally cracked. You've turned this into a witch hunt. My daughter is in tears, parents are being forced into sensitivity training, and the PTA is questioning my leadership, all because you can't handle criticism. This was never about criticism, I said quietly. It was about teaching children, through your example, that some people don't deserve inclusion, that some differences aren't worthy of accommodation. I gathered my materials. The meeting's over, Karen. The Parent Education Series continues next Tuesday. Attendance is still mandatory. As I walked away, Ashley called after me, "Will you ever forgive us?" I paused, considering. When Ethan receives as many birthday party invitations as the other children, when he's included in play dates and team selections, when he comes home feeling valued rather than tolerated, I looked back at them. Then we can discuss forgiveness. In the following weeks, the classroom dynamic shifted dramatically. Mark reported increased inclusion across all activities. Parents who'd been in the chat made pointed efforts to invite Ethan to events. Even Karen, after her initial resistance, enrolled in a parent support group for families of neurodiverse children. 2 months later, Ethan rushed home excited about being chosen first for a team project. "And guess who picked me?" he exclaimed. "Avery Miller. He said I'm really good at science stuff." Karen's grandson. Progress, however small. That evening, my doorbell rang. Ashley stood on the porch alone, holding a small gift bag. "It's a start," she said, offering it to me. Inside was a framed photo of Ethan and Avery at the Science Museum, a trip I hadn't known about. "Karen took them last weekend," Ashley explained. "She's trying, Jess. We all are." I nodded, not quite ready to invite her in, but no longer needing to close the door in her face. "It's a start," I agreed. The secret parent chat group was gone, but its impact remained, transformed from a tool of exclusion into a catalyst for education. As both a mother and a psychologist, I'd learned the hardest lesson. Sometimes healing a community means standing alone first, vulnerable and exposed, before others find the courage to stand with you. And sometimes, the strongest advocacy comes not from specialized training, but from the fierce, protective love of a mother who refuses to let her child be defined by others' limitations. Was I right to turn a private betrayal into a public reckoning? Some parents still resent me for it. But every time Ethan comes home smiling now, I know my answer.